Hello friends, Coach Bob with you today, and today we're going to take the triple out, talk a little bit. Going to talk a little bit about mental toughness today. Another thing we're going to talk about are the floorboard risers, and I'll have some pictures of those for you. Getting suited up. It's hot. And this Alpinestars really is not very cool. Might be cool looking. But it ain't very cool. Pressure washed my fence today. In fact, pressure washed a lot today. Way behind. I wanted to have my video made. That's my monitoring. See, that's me looking at you, looking at me, looking at you. Anyway, I've got the bike up on the pit bull stand for those who have never used one of these. Make sure you have your kickstand down when you get it off of the stand. What I normally do, because I like the bike to warm up a little bit, go ahead and let it run through its thing. Crank her up. Make sure the kickstand is down, because if the kickstand ain't down, you're gonna have a real problem. So what you do, lift this out. It's on the two wheels that holds it up straight. Lean it to the left and pull back so you don't collapse your kickstand. There you are. Pull it out. So what I have to do now is make sure that, because this is the first time riding the triple with the Hero 8, so I have to make sure that your view is reasonable. So I take that, and looks about right. I see the speedometer, and looks good. Okay. Okay, so Oxford's warmed up a little bit. Now, one of the things that when you go out on this bike, because it is a little different than that, just a little bit, is you don't want to do anything radical until your tires are warmed up. Yours looking good, huh? Okay. Glass is fogged up a little bit. Gonna have to. But the one thing about this, I can't really ride with my visor up a whole lot, because on this particular machine, I don't have a windshield. You know, I'm looking down. I check my tire pressure, but I always kind of look at my tires and watch for anything that's out of the ordinary. Okay, so anyway, warm these things up just a smidgen. Now I will tell you, I might flip this thing down. I will tell you that the garage is pretty hot, so I would think that the tires are warmed up. You know, I cover my back tire. The sun comes creeping in to the garage. I always cover the back tire. I always worry about the sun getting that rear tire too hot. Not good for it. It's a beautiful day. It is hot, but it is a beautiful day, and there's nothing like getting out on Oxford and kind of checking out the day. So first I want to talk a little bit about something that I'm really into, and I wanted to share with you today. And I'll share some pictures. I'll upload them from the interwebs and share it with you. And that is some pictures of what happened at MotoGP. Now, yes, I'm going to enlighten you today with a little bit of MotoGP knowledge and fun. I'm encouraging all of you to download the MotoGP app and to pay the subscription. You know, I always talk about the things I believe in. I really do. And I believe in MotoGP. I think it's one of the last bastions of yes, sir. Anyway, I believe MotoGP is one of the last bastions of athletes that have class, where they really do think about doing the right thing, honor, integrity, and code. And I just want to share a little story about something that happened last week. Last week was the first race of the season, and it was in Jerez, Spain. And Marquez, who you know is one of my favorite guys, I think he's a lot of people's favorite guys, took off and was working his way right up to the lead, and he low-sided. He low-sided like in lap 3, lap 4, early on. He low-sided and slid across the track, and somehow, miraculously, because it's one of those things where it was not humanly possible, he managed to work the bike back upright. And when he did that, he came back on the track, and I want to say he was in 19th place. He may have been in last place, I'm not quite sure. Now, when you're in a race like that, everybody there is talented. The worst of those guys is more talented than I could ever imagine being, and he worked his way up, man. He chased and chased and chased, and I watched the race. It was beautiful. It was an amazing race, and he worked his way back up, you're not going to believe this, to 3rd place. And he was behind Maverick Vinales, who is a Yamaha rider, and 1st place was Fabio Quartararo, who is also a Yamaha guy. And there was no way he was going to catch Fabio. There's just no way. But he was going to pass Maverick Vinales, and he took a turn too fast. It was really, really hot. The tires get really, really slick, and he peeled the rubber right off of that back tire and high-sided. Now, a high side is when you're sliding sideways and the tire grabs, and then it throws you over the top. It catapults you up in the air. And Marc Marquez is one of these guys that when he gets injured, he doesn't let you see that. I've seen footage of him walk behind the ambulance and then collapse, because he doesn't want his opponents to see that he's suffering. He doesn't share that. That's private. Well, they carried him off on a stretcher. For Marc Marquez, I mean, I'm not going to lie, to go from last to working your way into 2nd place and then high side is something special. And he is a special racer. He really, really is. And I enjoy watching it. It just... So I came out of the room after the race, and Coach Pick looked at me, and she goes, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine." Why? And she goes, "Are you tearing up?" I'm like, "Well, no." And she goes, "Are you crying over Marc Marquez?" And I said, "No, but what if I were?" Which brings me to the point of the story. There are people, okay, now here's where it gets even more crazy, I guess. He had surgery on the shoulder off season, and he injured his shoulder. He fractured the humerus. And there's a little gravel there. It's kind of stuff you don't want to see under your tire. Anyway, so he fractured his humerus, and they had to do surgery on it again this week. Well, guess who's supposed to race on Sunday? Marc Marquez. I'm curious to see how he does, because I know that arm is going to be extremely painful. There's a truck in front of me. Always hate that. This is not a great road for passing, but this motorcycle makes it pretty easy to pass just about anywhere. Just like that, right? So, thank goodness that wasn't a police officer. So, back to the story. So Marc Marquez is racing this weekend. How is he going to handle it? Now, the pain is one thing, but the real thing is the fear. How do you overcome the fear? Going down like that and being hurt, severely injured, after having surgery on something over the off season, how do you hop back on the bike and go fast without the fear? Now, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question. I do believe there are certain athletes that can overcome it. They can do it. Now, when I was a young man, I remember playing football. I thought nothing about running wide open and slamming my body into someone. Now, I will tell you, that does not sound real appealing at this point in my life. I don't think I could overcome the fear of that. I believe that if I did that, I would flinch at the last minute, and I would end up getting hurt as a result. Or if I were on a team, which obviously in football would be, I would be a poor teammate. Now, last year, Marquez was on a team, Repsol Honda team, with a guy named Jorge Lorenzo. Now, Jorge used to be one of the fastest riders in the world. An absolutely miraculous guy. Just unbelievable skills. Well, Jorge has had a lot of accidents. This guy's got to be on the phone. He's in the middle of the road. He's in the ditch. In the middle of the road, in the ditch. Middle of the road, in the ditch. But Jorge is one of those guys, though, that the fear got him. He could no longer overcome it. So he was always riding in the back third of the pack. He went from being one of the world's fastest motorcycle riders to being in the middle of the back of the pack. I question sometimes, is that where Marc Marquez is headed? I did that today, mowing. Because how many times can you be injured? How many times can you be bludgeoned and just get back up and do it? I believe it is a gift. I believe that there's a part of you inside that you can hone that skill. But I do believe that there has to be something there to begin with, something magical. And that's what makes Marc Marquez and people like him so amazing. We remember the quarterbacks of our time, the Joe Namaths, who Joe Namath had ripped his knees to pieces and somehow managed to win Super Bowls. When you see a marathon runner running a sub 5-minute pace, knowing that the first mile was painful, and for 25 times more, he endures that pain. How does he do it? I'll be honest with you, I don't know. I just think it's beautiful to see. And I thank God that there are people like that. Now, Coach Vic in my life, she is one of those people that, this dude's doing pretty good, man. I'd be going about 15 miles an hour faster, but he's just still doing very well. But Coach Vic is one of those people. She gets up every morning, and no matter what's in her way, she seems to make it happen. And that's one of the things that I love about her so much. We can all learn from that. And I pray that you have those people in your life, or you have those athletes, and it's always easy to see it in the physical realm with athleticism. We see those guys do that stuff, and it is really, really cool to see it. Okay, he's on his brakes. There's a car coming the other way. Uh-oh. What's that? Yeah, that's not good. Now, these roads are beautiful. We had a rainstorm, big storm yesterday. And so a lot of times when you're on these roads, you better watch yourself, because you come railing around a corner at 90 miles an hour, you'll hit a log. It's not going to end too well for me. So, like I said, this guy's doing pretty well. So when I look at the Marc Marquez's of the world, the Jorge Lorenzos that somehow lost it, there is another old guy out there racing still, a guy named Valentino Rossi. Valentino, been doing it forever. He's in his 40s. I think he'll be 43 this year. Valentino is quite the racer. He has had some podium finishes, not very many anymore. But I don't think it's due to fear. I just think that it's just due to age. We do slow down. But there are those who, even in their years where they're capable of going fast, they just can't do it anymore. I remember playing football. I broke my ribs twice in one season, and I didn't think anything about it. I mean, I would take, they'd tape me up or run a bandage around my chest. I couldn't breathe, but it was a little less painful when they do that because it kind of hold them together. And when it would hold them together, I didn't feel them, that grass where that guy was mowing. That way I didn't feel them separating every time I'd take a breath. But I'd go in there, man, and I'd wide open, I'd plow right into you. Broken ribs, didn't think anything about it. Coach Vic is one of those people. Are you one of those people? If you are, leave a comment down below. By the way, like, share, and subscribe. Like the video, share it with your friends. I was going to turn there, but you know what? Let's just ride. That is a great road, though. Let's see what we got here. Good. Smell rain. I think I better snap a Yui. I see the weather building up over there, which is where I was gonna go, but I guess not. Right here. You see the brakes on this thing though? I mean, I was doing 80 miles an hour and I shut it down and it was nothing. Oh yeah. Crazy today with that rain we had earlier. Certainly not on any twisties where I can't see around the corner. So one of the things also that goes on in MotoGP is these guys don't use profanity. And if they do, they apologize for it. And I like that. They don't talk bad about their competitors. I like that too. Scooter! Scooter! But I do like the fact that they don't trash talk. I don't like the arrogance, boastful. I don't like that. Never have enjoyed that about sports. Let your play, let that talk. I want to talk about a couple of CanAm specific items. First off, we'll talk about the floorboard risers. I really don't want to get behind this guy. It looks like I'm gonna dadgummit. She's out for a cruise though. I remember riding in my Jeep. But I'll just say this, they're nice, they're fun, but they're not known for their speed. Anyway, if she turns where I'm turning, I'll just whip right around her. Even if it's a double yellow, doesn't bother me a bit. She's not, she's going straight. She was watching me in a rear view mirror. I think she was thinking about letting me go around her. Yep, it's getting dark. Better get on back to the house. Dadgummit. But so let's talk about the floorboard risers first. The floorboard risers are made by CanAm Spyder Accessories.com. You guys know them as Pierre. I really do like them. They have served Coach Vic very well. They're a solid piece of kit. You know, you got two billet pieces there that bolt to the original spot, and then it just basically, then your pedal, you bolt to it, and it just lifts them up. And there's a hole every half inch or so, and you can set it to the height you want it. Now, Coach Vic, we've got them up pretty high. Coach Vic, if she were standing, would be 5'2". Ooh, didn't like that. Yeah, that's sucky there, man. Quite a bit of gravel and sand in there. I hit some little gravel when I come across that little turn. Felt that back tire go boop. Hello, get your attention. Wake up, Bob, wake up. Those things have served her well. If you're thinking about getting a pair, I don't think you can go wrong. I think you're gonna love them. The other thing that I've been asked about, I talked about the Hoover effect, you know, where the front of the Spyder, man, the sand in the road. Whew. The Hoover effect the Spyder has. Pay attention with his sand. Trail brake a little bit here. There we go. So the Hoover effect, where your CanAm sucks up bugs all the time. I don't know what he's doing. I guess he was thinking about what he was going to do. I thought he might turn left, but he was hitting his brakes. I think he's just going straight like that. I'll get around him. He's not going to be anything to pass. I don't need much. That's all I need right there. People out here are always really nice though. They'll slow down, wave you by. They know you want to ride. But the question was with putting those Spyder drills, also made by CanAm Spyder Accessories, with putting those in that hole, will that keep the bugs out? Will that keep all the debris out? Well, I'm going to put some pictures right up there, and I'll probably just move them in and out while I'm talking here. And you'll see. Now the pictures you're looking at were from the trip. So we did 5,000 miles, and this is the amount of debris that was in the front of the Spyder after 5,000 miles. I would say that is a success, because I know that there for a long, long time, no matter what I did, I was just packed with stuff in there. I could drive 45, 50 miles and get that many bugs in there. So now I know there aren't as many bugs in California as there are here. I do know that. But I did ride through Arkansas, Mississippi, Louisiana, Alabama, and Florida, and it's raining. Just like that. Dadgummit. Not good. Not good. Hope it, please come out of the other side of this mess. I hate this stuff. Talk about a slick road. The camera ain't waterproof because I got it in a little case. Woo! All right. Thank goodness for canopy roads, right? Let's see if I can kind of clean you off there a little bit. I was going to take a couple little detour roads till it started raining, but I guess my detour roads are taken. I may have to find some shelter and turn this camera off. Yep. Wasn't supposed to do this, but all the best laid plans. Also understand when you ride, you're going to get wet every now and then. Uh-oh. But that's a little head and clean you off a little bit. Probably made it worse. Rain, rain, go away. So it does stop the Hoover effect. I don't think you can go wrong with the CanAm Spyder accessory Spyder grills. They look cool and they actually serve a purpose. So floorboard risers are definite must. The Spyder grills, I don't know that they're a must, but they're a must for me. There's a road here I was hoping to kind of take you down. I better not come blasting, barreling around here. I end up, y'all get to see some real good footage. Coach Bob sliding down the road. That was a road I wanted to take, because that thing right there, man, that has got some cool turns. But with the roads being wet like they are, I don't think that's a good idea. Man, at the sand, and all this is from the rain earlier today. It just ran, it just washed everything out in the road. It was a gully washer, man. All that was supposed to be over. Had to get a little more rain. So the Spyder grills are definite plus. Like I said, the floorboard risers, and also Pierre's a really nice guy. I've spoken to him on the phone a couple of times. Really cool guy. You know, I like those guys that seem to always be in a good mood. So subscribe to MotoGP this week and give it a trial subscription. Watch it and give it time, because it takes a little while to figure out everything. And if you have any questions about it, feel free to leave a comment or a question. I've spoken to 4 subscribers this week on the phone. It's been really, really nice. Had one subscriber who had a belt vibration on a 2020. Let me see if I can clean this up again. On a 2020 F3 Limited. Looks like the rain has stopped. I'll go a little further and tell you about this F3 Limited. And he was breaking it in just like the book says, and all of a sudden he was up to highway speeds. He got over 60 miles an hour, and lo and behold, things started vibrating, and not in a good way. So he called the dealership, and the dealership was like, well, BRP makes a fix for it, you know, it's this belt tensioner and blah 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 blah, you know, typical dealer response. Whether it's a good deal or bad dealer, I'm not even going to go into all that. But anyway, so he left a message and asked me if I had any experience with that. And I said, well, no, I don't, but I know that it does happen, and I would certainly not expect it to happen to a new machine. That would tell me that the proper amount of tension is not on that pulley. Now, you can leave comments about your opinion on all of this down there in the comment section, what you think about all this. Let me tell you my opinion on it. BRP needs to fix it. They need to fix it for free. And if that means putting a pulley or a tensioner or whatever on there, then they need to bite the bullet, and they need to accept it and do it for free. The consumer should never buy a machine and a month later not be able to ride it and it not do what it was designed to do. So what I did, I took the liberty. I did not use the subscriber's name, as I will not do here, because I don't want to do that. I don't want to call anybody out or embarrass anyone, because I just think that would be inappropriate. And I appreciate him asking me. But what I did, I called BRP and I said, hey, this is what's going on. A guy that I know, blah 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 blah. I want BRP's official statement. I want to know, are you guys going to sell somebody a machine that is designed to be a touring machine, and then when they tour on it, it shakes them apart, and they have to go out and buy a part and spend money on labor and equipment to make it do what it was originally designed to do? Or are you going to make this thing right? And here's what BRP told me. We will make it right. If we sell a part to fix it, we will give you that part, and we will provide the labor to put that part on there, or we will repair the machine to make it do what it was designed to do. So if you are one of those new guys that have bought the 2020 and you, make sure nothing's behind me, and you have experienced this, call CanAm. Do not take your dealer's word for it. They may not know. Now, a lot of dealers, what I've discovered, there are a lot of them out there that they work with a lot of the off-road product. They don't work with the on-road product. And what that means, they may not even know whether it's a warranty coverage or not. So don't take their word for it. You should never have to go out and spend money on something that's brand new. You should not have to make a repair. They should make it right. If it's vibrating, they should be able to fix that vibration. And if they have to add a part to do it, then they'll just have to add a part to do it. And I don't think that's too much to ask. You spend $25,000 on a machine, an engineer designed it, and they need to stand behind their design. Do you think I'm being a knucklehead on this, or do you think that I'm overreacting? I love my Spyder, you know that. I'm going to keep it, and I'm going to plan on doing many, many trips on it. But I was a little concerned, man, initially when I'm hearing the dealer is like, ah, you're just going to have to bite the bullet and pay for it. And I'm like, no. Shouldn't be that way. So if you're one of those people who have experienced this, now, don't get me wrong, if the bike's 2 years old and it starts developing a vibration, okay, I'll bite the bullet and buy the pulley, tensioner, or whatever, buy the tensioner. But if it's 3 weeks old, a month old, 2 months old, nah. That tells me that whoever assembled that thing, the proper amount of tension ain't on that belt. I don't care how long that belt is, if the improper tension is on it, it ain't gonna work right. You know, Ducati has a belt, I think it's the Desmo drive. It's a belt-driven engine, and they have a sound analyzer that reads the pitch, and they adjust that belt to a pitch, and that's how they determine the tension of that belt. Now, if Ducati can do that, CanAm can do that. Because there are a lot of Ducatis out there that are a heck of a lot less than $25,000, $30,000. In fact, almost all of them. There are only 2 or 3 of them that are up in that range. The Panigale and the new Street Fighter. That's pretty much it. Maybe the Multistrada also. Probably the big Multistrada is over $20,000. Man, for over 20 grand, you can buy a heck of a machine. So, I believe that CanAm's going to make it right, but I just wanted you all to be aware of it. Alright, well, I guess I need to top this thing up with gas. Let's gas this thing up. The old 93 in there. I got 3,300 miles on him. All right, so let's see what the old gas gauge does. Time to clean and lube my chain. I can listen to my drive. You hear it? Back in my younger days, I'd have just freaking ripped through here. Now that I'm older, I try to be a little more courteous to my neighbors. Also, it keeps them from hating every motorcycle rider on the planet. When I ride, man, I listen to everything. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm always looking for trouble. Have a good one. Alright, so remember, until next time, go out, buy the motorcycle of your dreams, eat right, take care of yourself, and remember, if you're not having fun, you're doing it wrong. So, subscribe to MotoGP. We'll talk to you next time.